Hey there. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. How are you today? What's going on in your neighborhood? This is Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna's neighborhood. Because I am Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna. Now, I'm going to do a two-part video series. And today, we're going to talk about what happens when you're working in a corporate situation and you need to change your knowledge base. Here's the thing. I started working for a company based in California back in 2004. So I started to talk about my educational journey. I was working in a corporate situation. I had been moved out to Colorado in 2004 to be the production manager of this company that specialized in military history, big multi-volume encyclopedias, and social science books. And it was great. Loved the work, loved the subject matter. It was right up my alley, you know, because with the history background and, you know me as hashtag battlefield travel guy, military history thing was my thing. So I was doing great. And then came 2008, 2009. And the powers that be in the company decided to buy another company. The only problem was the other company was 3 times the size of the company that we were right then. So in other words, the small company was buying the big company. What did that mean for me? Well, the human resources vice president was very keen in taking shots at my job security all the time. He was basically a bully. And for 7.5, 8 years, he bullied me day in, day out. You know, always. And this is the thing. When you work for a company, you don't know who you're working for and who the people are. They could be SOBs. And this human resources guy, he takes the cake. Because he was a sadistic guy. So here's the thing. They decided to put these two companies together. But the person who was the production director at the other company was going to be in charge. And I was looking at, what's going to happen to me. Oh, they decided they were going to give me a spot, but they were going to cut my salary 25%. I was like, you gotta be kidding. The only thing that saved me from that was the fact that the person who was at the other company decided to leave the company because she didn't like our leadership in our company. So she left the company, and then they turned around and said to me, okay, your turn. Meanwhile, I've not been involved in any of the due diligence on how these two companies are gonna fit together. It's like, here, Don, make it happen. Go ahead, do it. Get the millions of dollars in that we need to keep the company afloat. At that point, I said one thing. I got to go back to school because I'm not on the cutting edge digitally and in content right here. So that was my goal. 2009, go back to school. How do you do that? When you work in Colorado and the mecca of publishing is in New York City, how do you go back to school? Well, luckily, there's something called online learning. Now, you may think online learning is just something that you learn by watching YouTube videos or other things, reading books, going to specified lectures. That's all of it. But the thing was, a few of the big universities in New York had just started online courses and programs with a Master of Science in Publishing. Okay? So in other words, a Master in Publishing Science. I said, that's for me. Got to do it. Now, I had been a very poor student in my undergrad. I came out with a 2.47 GPA. Now, I know in an Asian family like Lawrence Tam's, a 2.47, I'd be like thrown onto Elba. I'd be living with Napoleon, you know? But for me, and I've recently told my mom this, that 2.47 was actually a 4.0. Because in the middle of my sophomore year, my father passed away from chronic myelogenous leukemia. And I was going to school like 400, 500 miles away. So for me to just finish up, and I did finish up because he made me promise before he died that I would finish up at that school because he loved that school. So I did it for him. Didn't do it well. So when I got into this program, I was a matriculated student. I'd been working in publishing for almost 30 years. I was 49 years old. They were like, hey, you screw up, you're out. I didn't screw up. I told my late fiancée, Sue, if I'm gonna do this, I'm laying all my marbles on the table. I'm doing this at the highest level possible. Nothing's going to stop me from doing this. Now, I was tasked with putting the two companies together at the same time while I'm going to school online, and also getting the biggest project in the history of the company completed. And the person who's the president of the company had taken over control from the owner and didn't like the project. So we weren't given the tools that we needed to get the project done efficiently. But I said, you know what? Screw that, we're getting it done. You can look for it. It's called the World History Encyclopedia. It's 21 volumes. I got it done. Because you know what? I said, I'm a professional. I know book publishing. I know how to get things done. And you know what? I'm doing it no matter what. I don't care who in the leadership is gonna like try and stop me. Because you know what? That has to do with my career, not theirs. I got a nice thank you in the forward from the doctor who was overseeing the project. But here's the thing. I came out of my master's program with a 3.86. Yeah. Okay? I didn't leave anything anywhere. I went for it. I grabbed it by the throat and I just took it and went for it. I went through graduation, commencement, at Radio City Music Hall, went up on stage, got my diploma, back in 2012. So I was on the cutting edge. I'm on the cutting edge, know my stuff, no marketing, no digital, no content management, resource management, copyrights, the billing part of it, everything. 8 months later, my company decides to cut me out. Now, why is that? Well, I made the mistake of telling the human resources director, the guy who was my buddy, who bullied me for 8 years, that I could pull it off and get the two companies together and keep us feasible. I actually did a Joe Namath and guaranteed it. I guaranteed that I could get it done, and I did it. Now, if I can do that, if I can do those three things, major things, taken one at a time, they were incredible things to be dealing with in your career. Going back to school to get a master's, okay? Taking two companies and putting them together successfully and making them work to keep the revenue stream and keeping the company alive. 2, getting the largest project in the history of the company completed when the people at the top don't want it completed. 3, I can do anything. I'm Spider-Man, I'm Superman, I'm the Hulk, I'm Captain America, all rolled into one. You want to be great? Take the ball and run with it. Don't let anybody get in your way. Don't let any leaders of companies or corporate structures bother you. You just do what you gotta do. Because in the end, the only person who matters is the person that you get up and look in the mirror at in the morning when you shave or brush your teeth or do whatever. It's you. It's all up to you. So, online learning, you could do it in a university setting now. You could do it in a company setting, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow with all the network marketing, learning that I'm doing, masterminding that I'm doing, conference that I'm going to in Atlanta in a couple of weeks. I've cut out this whole corporate thing. Corporate thing is gone. I'm never going back into a corporate situation. Somebody wants to hire me as a contractor, that's fine, in the publishing, but I will never work for a publishing structure like before, ever again. And that, you know, I paid my dues. I did my thing. I did what I needed to do. I don't need to prove myself. I've proven myself over and over and over again. And here I am like 3 or 4 years later, starting on new adventures. Nobody in the publishing industry has even like contacted me. So what does that show you? Also, I'm real happy about the way the election went, and publishing doesn't like that. Publishing is not for change. So, this is Dodgement, the Book Kahuna. Now you know a little bit more about me, a little bit more about my online learning experience. And it's all good, because you can take it to the bank. And now, I have a diploma I can put up on the wall that says I have a master's degree in publishing. How many people have that? I know shepherds and book people, coaches out here. They're all yapping about how much they know about publishing and how to get things done. And then they turn around and they're like, oh, well, having a degree in publishing means nothing. Oh, yeah? Well, how come you have a PhD and you're flouting it all the time? Okay? And it has nothing to do with publishing. You got a PhD in psychology or something? What the hell does that have to do with publishing? I don't know. So, you know what? If you want somebody who's going to fight for you, fight for what's right here. Don Schmidt, the Book Kahuna. Talk to you later. Good night.